Hello, everyone. Welcome to another awesome day of FileMaker training. I'm Richard Carlton, creator of FMTraining.tv, where every day is really a good day to learn about the FileMaker platform and the rest of the world that interacts with FileMaker. And it's moving and changing rapidly. And I've got to play with it. I'm very, very excited about it. We have a broadcast engineer today is Margaret, and our guest superstar topic provider person is Todd Geist. How are you, Todd?
I'm good.
Good, good, good. Very,
Good.
very.
Do I see Vince in the room?
Yeah, Vince is here. I'm not sure why Vince is here, but he could show up if he wants to.
Sure,
That's pretty
Vince.
good.
Vince,
Hey, Todd.
how you guys
Cool.
doing?
Good.
Good, good, good. Real quick, so the upcoming broadcast schedule. So Claris being Claris, right? They're going to get mad at what I'm about to say, what I'm going to say, but they already told everyone about this. So the schedule for today and tomorrow, we've got Proofkit with Todd and Ernest. I think Ernest will be around more tomorrow.
Yeah, he's around tomorrow.
And then Monday is we're going to be doing a roundhouse on news, but basically any salient news that we want to know about in terms of Apple Worldwide Developer Conference. I understand that a lot of us are Windows users, but technically FileMaker is an Apple product. The word Claris is really kind of whatever. It's really Apple FileMaker. So at the end of the day with that, the team at Claris is going to be well, let me just say it this way. Claris is inviting everyone to come play with FileMaker 26 on Tuesday, which means by the morning of the 6/9, 26 will have shipped somehow. Somewhere in that period in there, it's going to go out the door. Otherwise, they wouldn't have invited you to come play with it. So then following that, we have a whole bunch of FileMaker 26 information on shows. The next day, Jeremy Brown's going to be around talking about a new persistent storage lockbox. It's like a big ass Tupperware container in your FileMaker FMP12 file, right? So now you have Tupperware and FileMaker. Margaret, we should rename that. Call it Tupperware and FileMaker. Well, people don't even know what that even is. Tupperware. It's like that. So old people know what Tupperware is. So then after that we have Hansa and Vince is going to be showing up. They're going to be talking. I think Vince is a week early is what I think would happen, but that's okay. Vince, you can hang out and smoke some weed.
Sorry. I really apologize. I meant to join the YouTube channel, but I ended up here.
Well, then that's fine. Then you can be
That
part
case
of
you
it.
can hang out. Feel free.
Just
Okay.
feel free
All
to
right.
hang out. One of our backup speakers.
Yeah.
In the event that Todd dies in a tragic bus crash on the way in today, Vince was our backup. So
Actually, I think Vince could have some interesting insights on what we're going to talk about today. So.
Yeah, it would probably be good. It's always good to have people like that. So then Vince has his own show along with Hansa. They're talking about things. And so basically starting Tuesday or next week, we're going to go into 2 weeks or 3 weeks of pretty intensive FileMaker 26 stuff. Let me just say this one more time for everyone who's missing this, discover low-hanging fruit. There's a ton of AI stuff, agentic AI stuff that really is awesome that Claris is working on bringing to the platform. They're going to bring that into the platform down the road, not in the initial launch at 26. So there's already some AI features in there that they've been working on last year and the year before that. Those will get some sort of minimal amount of service. But the really good stuff that I want to use will be 26.1 or whatever the hell they're going to call that thing. And it's going to be an update that'll come down the road. The dates on that are somewhat to be determined, but Claris has made it very clear that throughout the summer, we're going to see this stuff dropping in. So you're going to want to have 26. You're going to want to be paying attention to the FileMaker community, the live streams, whatever. Make sure you're around so we can get everyone up to speed. So just understand that the FileMaker 26 is going to be an infrastructure upgrade that they're doing that does help support the agentic development much better. So we got another victim in here. Jacob Taylor's in here. So now we have our server backup guy on hot standby. So yeah, very excited. So real quick, so Todd is here today, and we were going through some AI stuff, and he was saying some things that were really valuable even before the show started. We were talking about, at some point, people say, well, you could run your model locally at home and this sort of thing. And I'm using Claude Code, and us normal humans cannot just buy Claude Code or license it and drag it home with us. Like even if I had a really high-end Mac, I can't do that yet. Now, Apple and these big companies do, Todd. They get access to it, right?
They get access to special builds that Anthropic and OpenAI make available. If you're Apple, you can get these kind of things. Or a lot of enterprises will run Anthropic or OpenAI through AWS Bedrock or through Microsoft Azure that has additional layers that are enterprise security layers and enterprise access layers. So at this point, running these super high-end coding models on hardware that you own is not a thing. Some of the coding models are getting pretty good and they're getting small, and expect that sometime in the next year to 18 months, we're going to cross where you'll actually be able to run a pretty decent coding model on a Mac. More than likely, Macs will be they'll be expensive, 5 grand. So, but to be able to do it, you wouldn't be able to use Claude. You'd have to use something like Cursor or OpenCode or one of these other ones, because Claude you can only use Anthropic models, right? You can't use something you can run on your desk next to you. But with OpenCode or with Cursor, you can point it at whatever you want to be your model, and you could potentially do that. So I expect, like I said, we're a year to 18 months away to those lines crossing. The models get good enough and small enough, and the hardware gets good enough and cheap enough that you could consider doing that. I fully expect that by the end of the decade, I will have a pretty big server somewhere in my house running a pretty nice coding model. But today, the frontier models are where it's at, and um, I mean that's not entirely true. There's others, but especially if you're learning, I would stay there because you're gonna learn the best there.
Yeah.
And then later on, as you get better, more understanding around how these things work, you can experiment with other ways of getting your intelligence fix, as opposed to Anthropic or OpenAI or Codex.
Yeah, no, then that came up, and Margaret was commenting on that. We've had people, I was coding with building that first project, Todd, very excited about that. And after about 3 or 4 days, I have a little bit of attention deficit disorder. I'm like a dog, like, oh, that's very shiny. And I go here and I go, I'm never very still for very long. And the AI development where you ask it a question to build some shit gives you perfect time for you to bounce to your next chore and then bounce back. And so it almost like feeds to the attention deficit order people. And I was digging it because I had more productivity in building solutions in the last 3 weeks than I've had in the last 10 years.
Yeah,
And
that's what happens.
yeah, and I was like, holy shit. So then, and then what if you had two machines doing it? So can you run, if you have a Claude account, like or Anthropic account, can you run that on more than one Mac
Sure.
at a
Yes.
time?
Yes. So I've got a laptop here, which is
Mm-hmm.
running everything that we see that I'm on. And then I've got 2 Mac minis under the desk here.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got 3 more in the garage.
But they could all be using the same account,
All
which
use
is,
the same
but
account.
that it just
Yeah.
means they're chewing through your tokens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But and so then what I do is I just use a remote desktop in, and
Mm.
I have a project running on this computer and a project running on this computer and a project running on that computer, and I just change out that way. That's actually a pretty good way of doing it. If you can get the extra hardware, so maybe next time you're thinking about trading in your Mac for a new one, keep it around to run as a separate little quote unquote coding environment,
Mm-hmm.
because it's definitely helpful for that kind of thing, especially when you're doing like if you're doing traditional app development with web stuff, you can do a lot of that in the cloud. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're gonna be integrating with FileMaker, you can't. You need a Mac. You need a machine that has FileMaker on it, Mac or Windows at least.
Yeah.
So you're gonna need that together. So actually, a little Mac Mini is great for this. They're pretty affordable, and they're perfect for having that project you can always pop back to and you know spend a few tokens on and then bounce out to your next task. Really useful
Absolutely.
for that. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, cool. So with that in mind, Vince, along the way, if you want to stick your nose under the hood, that's
I'm
great.
going to ask Vince some questions. I got some questions for him. Well, let me set this up a little bit,
Well,
if
Vince,
I
you might
could.
want to beautify yourself and turn on your camera besides you and your
Well,
baseball cap.
no, because then all the rest of us will look bad. That's the problem.
Oh, geez, look at that. Okay. All
I
right.
really apologize. I really didn't mean to crash this.
That's all right, man. That's
That's
not a
just a
problem.
link I had. Yeah. All right. Ask
Do you
away.
remember back in the day when Vince had better hair than all of
Yeah.
us?
Mm-hmm.
Remember?
Mm-hmm.
The big flowing locks. Yeah.
Yeah. I have long
Um,
hair.
yeah. So, what I want to talk about today is, I think what people who are new to this have it's hard. Like it's so new that it's hard to understand like what the world looks like when you cross over into this new way of doing things. And so, what I thought I'd do is share a case study from our own team and our own company, Dirk, who's one of our principals and a longtime FileMaker developer, like 30 years, and did some like Lasso development back in like the 90s, but hasn't done any web development since like,
It's
the early
exactly me.
aughts,
That's not
right?
since
Okay.
'98 or so was the last time
So
I.
so he's the primary developer of this project we have, and I want to share. Um, so this is an app that has been built sort of old school FileMaker, right? Like still in use today, but old school FileMaker. So this is it here. It's got your it's like a basic sales solution, right? Pretty nice standard FileMaker stuff you've seen, like starting point kind of things, right? You can drill down, standard stuff. Let me show the graph real quick. Um, so this is all you've all seen these kinds of things, right?
Yeah, anchor
Yep.
buoy. That works.
Standard FileMaker. So he gets a hold of Proofkit, and what he does is, I asked him, I interviewed him a little bit before that. And we're going to actually do a podcast with him when we get deep into this, like the steps that he went through. But he got into Proofkit, and in 3 weeks, he built this. So this is on the same FileMaker file. This is using Proofkit, but it's in WebDirect. Okay. So this is running in a browser. Okay. But now he's got this even better UI with all kinds of really cool features in it that like here, this is an activity. So this is customers down the left or accounts down the left. And there's a little dot if we got any activity from them over these days. So an activity is like a note or a conversation record that somebody had, right? So he's got it month, year, you got week, month, and even year views, and you can see it loading in all the dots. For instance, a little two for this. So he says he's rebuilt about 30% of the UI. I didn't show you all the UI. It's very extensive, lots of reports. He said he's rebuilt about 30% of the UI in WebDirect. I'm sorry, in Proofkit, and he's just using WebDirect now for this. And he did it just in 3 weekends.
I mean, it's gorgeous looking at it.
Yeah.
I
So
bet
again,
you can
I want to
filter it
reiterate this
too, right?
point. There's a couple things that are really important here. Dirk is not a web developer. Dirk had never programmed in React, Tailwind, ShadCN, Node.js, none of that. Never used GitHub, never did any of that, right? He gets Proofkit, he takes out his Highlander thing, he says, I want to rebuild the UI and I want to make it available inside of a web app. I'm sorry, inside of a web in WebDirect, right? So this is like we all know what WebDirect is, and we know what we like about it and what we don't like about it. This looks way better than what you get out of a FileMaker WebDirect scenario. It's a real web app. The only difference is it doesn't have the deep linking, which we know is an issue with WebDirect. But otherwise, it's great and it's beautiful. He's got all these really great effects. You can search for it's got like a full search across the entire system. Like this is fantastic. And so he rebuilt the UI in 3 weekends, no prior skill in this area. Okay. So I want to, because I know that you got a lot of long-term hardcore FileMaker devs on this show, and I just want to show you what it can look like if you get in there and start and you give it a try, and the kind of success that you can create with tools like Proofkit. And frankly, what Claris is talking about building, and this is the stuff that they're going to be adding to the platform to make this kind of thing doable without having to, install Proofkit. You just use the Claris stuff. So let me stop there. It looks like Vince actually has a question.
Which is so bizarre. And Vince, just feel free to interrupt him to say, "Yo,
Yeah,
Todd,
I know.
shut the hell up."
So, Todd, I don't know if you have access to the API layouts that he probably is generating this data from, but what I discovered when I was experimenting with it was that what the big aha moment for me was like, okay, I have a layout and I, you know, kind of vibe coded a new version of Inspector with a web UI. I had on the list view of scripts, I had 400 and like I don't know 450 some odd layout objects to render that view. I traded that in for 25 fields on an API layout for scripts. And then I said, build me this view. And I got pretty much the same parity of, actually a lot better. Plus the other thing is like, okay, so I traded in FileMaker technical debt for web technical debt, but the web technical debt is managed by Claude, right?
Yeah,
Claude
that's right.
Code manages it. So if something doesn't work, I just tell it to fix it, whatever, I don't even have to bother with it. But the beauty is now, like, think of the implications of what happens, like a cascading domino effect. I've just got rid of a layout, 458 objects down to 25, whatever. That's a 90% reduction in technical debt. If I extrapolate that across all the layouts, I have about 33,000 layout objects. I did the math on it. It came out to like you're going to end up with maybe 1,500 or 1,300, layout objects when you're all said and done. That's 90 to 95% reduction in technical debt. Plus, there are things in the table that are, I don't know, maybe they don't need to be there, like schematically, like calculations. Those could be rendered in the web UI. So now I'm reducing technical debt in the table. And then if you cache it, if you front load it, if it's okay, you could cache all this data in the web experience, and now you can get rid of all your indexes because your searches are done from the browsing experience, right? So, I mean, what I discovered, it was just one thing after another to kind of shift the area of responsibility and give you all kinds of benefits you never had before. I could go on, but I'll stop there.
Well, I think you bring up I mean, one of the things about layouts is, I mean, if anybody's looked at the XML output, layouts are usually most of the XML, right? Like layouts are the heaviest part of your system, and that all has to be transmitted over the wire as part of the startup boot routines of FileMaker, and you're getting rid of all that, to do this stuff. So, and I think when I asked Dirk, I said, if you so okay, so you're going down this process. If you need to add a new feature or you want to do anything to this project in the future in the user interface layer, are you ever going to use a FileMaker layout again? And his answer was blankety blank F no. There's just no way that you go back to doing that. And it's just because this is easier. That's all. Like it's just that you get better results and it's easier in the long run. So Vince, let me ask you the same question. Would you build a UI with a FileMaker layout again now that you've had some experience in doing it with a web viewer?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Like I probably would still have some layouts
Sure,
for
there's
certain
layouts for
things,
like dev
whatever.
views and
Yeah, whatever.
debugging and
Yeah,
things like that.
but
But in terms of what the user's looking at,
yeah, no, definitely
no.
this is the way to go.
Yeah. So I hope that makes like having Vince pop in here was great because Vince is also another like you don't get much more hardcore FileMaker developer than Vince Bonanno. Like this is somebody who's been doing it for a long time. He's built I guess you could almost say this is your third analysis program, I think, if you count them all.
Oh, you
Um,
mean versions of Inspector?
yeah, well, you had
Yeah,
like
like
Analyzer
and
and
like it's a
Inspector and
third rebranding, but
yeah.
honestly, I'm a little bit crazy because I always kind of like start file new and then like, okay, what did I do over there? And I'm like, anyway, it is crazy, but
So are you
mm,
can we get you to drop the hint that you're rebuilding Inspector for another time with web viewers as the UI?
I mean, I'm in process of how do you say? I'm digesting and exploring all these
Yeah.
options. And not only that, I'm also exploring, other possibilities. Like one of the things that I kind of came across and which really blew my mind, which was again, like I had the data So I had the data in the table. So Inspector has all these analysis records. It has the history, like, so what got added, what got changed, what got modified. And then I'm looking at this GitHub activity map and I'm thinking, hey, I want to build something like that, but for FileMaker, a FileMaker activity map, right? So
Yeah.
I took a screenshot, I printed it, and I wrote on the paper, like, do this over here, do that over here. I fed the picture in to Claude Code and I gave it a prompt, and then I went to pick up my son at school.
RC
And
was
that
just
and
talking about stuff like that. Sorry,
yeah,
go
like
ahead.
and you know, like half an hour later, I come home, and it's like I look at it, like, wow, cool, you're almost there. Like a few more tweaks, and it's like perfect. It's
Yeah.
so amazing, and it really is mind blowing. And
Yeah.
we're just at the beginning.
Yeah.
This is just the beginning.
Yeah.
It's just gonna get better from here,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So that's one of the main points I wanted to get across, because I know that if you haven't done this, you just might be asking yourself why. Why would I go down this road? And I'm hoping that by seeing results from people who are really like, I've developed as much or more in TypeScript over the last decade as I have in FileMaker, to be honest. But, Vince hasn't, Dirk hasn't. These are FileMaker devs. And our team of FileMaker devs, they're all doing this now. And they didn't do any of this before, and they're all doing it now. And I should say they're all doing this just in the last 2 to 3 months. Like, nobody's been doing it for more than that. Like, this is like, I think, Vince, you've been playing around with Proofkit for what, 45 days, maybe at max, something like
Oh
that, 30
no, like
days,
two to 3 weeks,
2 to 3
really.
weeks,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So
Yep.
2 to 3 weeks, and you're in deep, and you can start doing stuff like this. And that, I think, is the win. And then it just goes from there. Then it just keeps going. So, are there any questions? Anything from the community we
Yes, no,
can
people have
talk
been
about?
very chatties. We got a couple. The
Okay.
code generated uses JavaScript library.
Yeah, so in the web viewer stuff, that's all using JavaScript under the hood. So it's HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And the good news is that in the old days, this was very hard. This took you, a few years to develop enough mastery to feel comfortable doing this. In the new world, you can actually get stuff that works. I mean, again, Vince has been doing this for 3 weeks, and he's already producing stuff. Dirk, 3 weekends, and he's producing stuff that looks like this. So we're not talking about years and months to be able to do this. We're talking about hours to days, and you're able to do this. So it is doable. You don't have to really know anything. Now, will you want to learn things, and will you learn things? Yes. But to get started and to being able to produce real value inside of your currently existing apps, you can just start. And within a week, I'll bet you'll have something that'll blow your mind. I'll bet you'll be floored at how much you can do.
To get started as a home user to use Claude Code and Proofkit, is the safest way to use it by installing on a separate user on your computer since I don't have a spare Mac?
No, you can. So with Claude Code, it's fine to install on your own computer. You can. It comes with defaults that are very strict, and then you may loosen them up over time as you get familiar, but it's not really a problem. There was When OpenClaw came out at the turn of the year, like in the early part of the year, OpenClaw was like the Wild West, and it was like we basically told people, do not install this on your work computer. This is really, really crazy. But for Claude, it's not an issue, and you should feel comfortable doing that. Not a problem.
Yeah, so there's not really like a huge chance of you accidentally deleting your root OS or something.
No, not using Claude. Now, the reason we use separate computers, what it turns out is like you want to have these different projects running, and sometimes like now the models can go for hours actually on a given task if they're given a good spec and enough tasks to do. And so you don't want to just sit there with your computer tied up for all that time. So that's typically why if I'm doing a bunch of long running tasks, I'll just RDP into another computer and do it there so that I can have my other computer not, I don't have it like the agent like poking around the web page in the background and distracting me. Because otherwise you'll just stare at it. You'll just be like, You just like looking at what it's doing, and you'll stare and stare and stare and stare. So that's why we have the separate Macs really for that is to be able to do multitasking.
Yeah,
And
new skill sets that we're all learning, right? So I've
yeah,
gone through this, the same thing that Vince has gone through over the last couple of weeks, and part of it is you give it a request, and you're like, okay, how long till it comes back, right? Because a lot of times it'll come back and say Claude would like permission to do this, and you're like, yes, yes, no, yes, yes, and how long do I have? Do I have time to run to the bathroom and come back before it's waiting for me, right? And so what is those? How do you? It's a new skill set, like trying to anticipate how long you've got before it's ready for you.
yeah, and again, some of the stuff you have to experience and develop a little just of your own experience with it. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to really describe, but and as you go along, you'll learn what like I pretty much have my Claude running under don't ask me, just go. I'm fine
Yeah, but
with it.
there's
And
limits with that, right? I mean, mine because sometimes,
it's yeah, it depends. Like it depends a little bit. And Claude like Cursor actually is much more will let you go. I pretty much have it'll pretty much do everything without stopping. So Claude is definitely a little more needy in that regard. But still, you can do things like Claude Claude is a whole world. There's tons of things happening there, and there's ways in which you can have it. There are people that do stuff like they because you can set up your Claude to run a prompt at a given time, like 4 in the morning.
mm,
And it can do things like check your GitHub repository to see if it or to your whatever you're using to track issues and see if anybody's reported a new bug. And you can get to the point where it'll actually take that bug and say, "Oh, I think I can fix it," and it will check out your code and it will attempt to fix a bug, and it will push it back and make what's called a PR request, where it's just waiting for you to review the code and say, "Yes, okay, it's good, go."
mm.
So that's the end goal. That's where you'll get to over time, where things get more and more autonomous. But initially, just put the time in front of the screen, learn what it can do, and get comfortable with it as you go along.
A question for all three of you, actually. Aren't you guys worried about not understanding what's really going on under the hood?
Um,
That's a great question. It's a phenomenally
it
good
is a good
question.
question, and it's actually one that doesn't go away. So it
Right.
changes. The the So one of the things you can get exposed to now that we can do this, agentic engineering and FileMaker, you can have automated tests that actually test your code, and you can even have it drive your UI. So
Yes.
if you want to like make sure that before you ship a new version or before you say uh, before the agent can say it's done, you can say make sure you run the end-to-end tests, and it will actually spin up the app in FileMaker, and it will, using the little preview browser that it has, it'll drive itself through the paths that have been defined as the things that it must do. And if everything breaks, it'll give you it'll give you an error message or a nice report
Mhm.
saying this is what broke, or it'll just iterate on it until it fixes it, right? So there's ways in which you can kind of force and guide the agent towards the kinds of behavior that you want your app to do, and some of that is things like end-to-end testing. However, there is a thing that happens even when you really trust the code. Like even when I'm pretty sure the code that it's writing is very good because I've been doing this a long time and it's fine. Like I'm not worried about the quality of the code. There is another thing that happens is that you lose you lose touch with the code. Like if you're the one who's written something, you have all that stuff in your memory. It's in there, right? All the all the muscle memory, the keystrokes, everything you did is all in there. And when you're not doing that, you're not experiencing the code, the development of code in the same way. And that is something that is that's the thing that actually bothers me is that I feel like almost like every time I come back to a project, I'm almost having to like start over and like reboot the entire thing into my brain because I didn't write the code, right? Like I didn't actually type the keyboard anymore. So that's a thing, and that's a real thing. I think what we're and I don't think that's solved yet. Like I think we need better tools to teach us about our code.
Mm.
One of the things that I do is I have a skill called Teach Me, and what Teach Me does is when I've completed a bunch of work in a big long message, I can just go slash Teach Me, and what it will do is it generates a quiz on the fly of everything that was done and to the level that I specify. Like I can say, explain it to me like I'm 5 years old, and it will give me a very sort of just the business layer and the objects and kind of how the flow works together. Or I can say, give me the technical details, and it will create a multiple choice quiz for me that I have to step through to demonstrate mastery of what just happened. Right. Which is kind of wild. But the reason I'm doing that is to kind of get that sense back of like, okay, I have another. So I told the code what to write. I told it what to write in terms of the features that I want. And now I've demonstrated that I understand what was done. And so that's like two ways getting into my brain instead of just the one way. This might be something that you have to experience to really understand what I'm saying, but yeah, it's something like that.
I do have a quick question. I know Vince is going to say something, but I did want to. I asked this the other day, Todd, and I thought it was worth either recapping on the show or maybe coming back and doing a show on it. But uh, so a couple things with Claude Code. So I kept telling Claude, build this, and oh, I always want you to test it. And Claude Code would humor you for a period of time, but then it would forget. It's like a 12-year-old. They forget that to test your work before you give it to me. Test it. Always test it. And I said, and at the morning, and I yelled at it, and it said, yeah, my bad. And so then about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, it starts forgetting to test its code again. So, notwithstanding, you have to babysit this thing a little bit to keep an eye on it. um, it was trying to click around in Chrome, and it had a Chrome extension, but there was still some things it wasn't really great. It wouldn't upload sample files to test a document upload, things like that. We really need a great testing capability within the product. So how do you solve this personally for you when
So
you're
file uploads are always going to be a challenge. Even like in the best world, you don't have a good way of doing that, to be honest. Like file uploads, because it's something that comes from the computer
yeah.
and has to get dragged on, right? But anything that's clickable,
Mm-hmm.
anything that can be driven through a click or a type, you should be able to do. And so you
Okay.
can tell the browser, you can tell the agent to do that, and it will do it. It'll spin up its own. It'll use Chrome, or it'll use like here. Let me launch my dev server here. Um,
Because I have an extension with Chrome, and it mostly works. You can see when it's driving around, but it's like really fast little spurts. It does stuff.
Yeah, it can
And
it can type and then check its work,
yeah,
take screenshots and analyze really fast. So you can't always keep up with what it's doing.
yeah. Sometimes it seems like it's nothing's moving, then suddenly it does 10 things all within a half a second, and you're like, what the hell
Yeah, yeah.
happened? So, but that testing is so important.
Yeah, let me see. Here we go. So let me open this up a little bit and I'll
And then
share.
Vince, you have a comment too. So yeah, no.
No, I was just showing my screen, but the
Oh well,
training stuff. While we're waiting, actually, I do have a comment. Uh, the learning stuff. Like about a year ago, I've been spending so much time with XML, and I was writing XPath and all this and XSL, and I was stuck on something. And I have my approach to doing stuff with XML, and I said, "Here's the XML, and here's the XSL I have. Help me figure out this." And what was fascinating was by giving me a result, I looked at it and I realized like, hey, I never knew that even existed. Okay, I learned something new, and it can unravel certain things about learning in the process when you use it that are things that you never thought to do.
oh, there's a
So
teach me.
Yeah, it's great for learning. Ask it questions, and you can say like, I don't know anything about this, so teach me like explain to me like I'm five, and it'll actually do a really good job of telling you what it's doing, and so you should definitely take advantage of that. So here's Claude Code. I've got a little chat going here, and this is my app, and this is connected to FileMaker. So this is pretending it's a FileMaker web viewer here, right? Like we've been showing. So we've got all these pages and screens and stuff. Oh, you know what? I don't have it connected to FileMaker because I didn't launch the
MCP connector.
What I needed to do, because I think I quit it. Did I quit it? No, I did. So I actually have a little launcher. I told Claude to make me to like remember how to open the FileMaker file on the server, and so now I can just do I can just say launch the FileMaker file on the server, and because I didn't do that, and that's why our data is not loading here. So it's popped it. I'm going to log in with my SSO here, single sign on. Sorry, that's the wrong file. This one is just a different password. This is this file. Oh, come on. Oh my gosh. Passwords typing. There we go. Okay, and so then I need to run my connect MCP script. There we go. All right. That helps quite a bit. So that'll finish up any of the issues we're having here. What was I saying? I was saying what? I was saying, oh, so now I can launch the file, and now I have the file open. So this is my web viewer app. This will eventually be in my FileMaker file. It actually already is. We can look at it there. The main thing I wanted to point out is that this, if you tell the client, you tell the agent to use this to prove its work, it will. It will just use the preview browser to go ahead and do it. And that's a really amazing thing, because then it just fixes all its stuff. And this was from Richard's comment about Chrome and testing and stuff.
Yep.
What else was I going to say? So that, okay, got it. I got it. Okay. So other things to look at. So I want to look at files. So in my files here, there's a number of things. One of which is agents.md or claude.md. So claude.md is for Claude Code. They have their own file name. They call it claude.md. Everybody else uses agents.md. So we want this project to be able to be used by anything. So we have both an agents.md and a claude.md file. That's why there's two of them. The claude.md file, all this means is look at the agents.md. So this is the agents.md file. So this is what I wanted to get to. So what you want to do is agents.md or claude.md, depending on what you're using, is where you put things that you want the agent to always know, right? So this is where you define things that are important for it to understand what it is you're doing. So this is like every time the agent starts a new session, every time we go new session, it loads this file. And then this file links into some other files and loads in some skills and do some other things. But that's one of the key things is claude.md is where you put instructions that you want the thing to always remember. If you put them in there, it will always remember it. Then there are some other things that we do with Proofkit. Let's see if I can point them out here. So how would I show this? So this is called, we set this up for you in Proofkit. You don't have to know anything about this. This is kind of like what we do to get Proofkit ready for you. What this is this is a pre-commit hook. So when you get to the point where you're committing your code to GitHub, before it commits, it runs just runs this script called npm fix, which basically just fixes all like formatting issues and puts all the code in the right format, so you don't have to do that. And so there are other kinds of what are called hooks that you can put in place. Basically, you can have a hook run um, at the end of every time a file is edited. You can have a you can have the um, the agent, well, not even the agent, when the agent's done, it will call a piece of code which can run your tests, for example. And so every time it edits a file, it has to pass its tests. So there are things like that that you can do to make it, like, to force it to always do the things you want it to do. These are kind of advanced topics. These hooks are a little bit advanced. So what I would start with is the agents MD or Claude MD is like, you can define done in here. You could say like, don't ever tell me you're done unless you've checked these three things, or unless you run it in a browser and make sure that it works. And then it will do that. Does that make sense?
Yes. There's also a comment that says Superpowers plugin is fantastic for getting models to be better about unit tests and verifying work.
Yeah. So Superpower is just a plugin that installs a bunch of things,
Super
skills,
okay, stop.
MCPs, and hooks.
Superpowers.
It's called
Yes.
Superpowers. Yeah.
Is that a Anthropic thing or what? Where?
No, it's actually just some guy wrote it, and it's pretty good. It's I can find it.
Super. Is it FileMaker specific? Super.
No. It's AI. It's just an AI thing.
It's an AI
You can use it for like everything from writing blogs to generating ideas. It's
Okay, well, I just typed it in Google and it's talking about Superman and shit. So that
I'll
didn't
show
help
you.
me.
Hang on a second. Here it is. It's called it's a
GitHub repository. Okay.
It's a GitHub repos. It's where the code is,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also available as like a Claude plugin. Like I might even be able to bring it up here. Let's see if it shows up in the, because you can go to these connectors.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Ooh.
We can search.
Oh, you have a connector for Excel-a-Draw?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh.
You can just tell it to draw.
I use Excel-a-Draw now because of you, Todd.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
fantastic.
Oh yeah.
It'll work right within Claude.
Oh, I'm gonna have an orgasm. I'm sorry.
So you go
good.
like, here, we'll do a brief aside.
This is so good.
Let's see.
A Toddgasm.
Use Excalibur to draw me a diagram of what?
Workflow or something, right?
Yeah, do me a diagram of a workflow that describes how a database is migrated from dev to production. Hopefully I have Excalibur turned on. I didn't see if I had it on or not, but yeah, I did. There it goes. No, use the tools here, buddy. Oh, you know what? Sorry. Got to do this in chat. You want to do Excalibur in chat because I'll show you why. Hang on a minute.
Okay.
So it's a little bit different. Code is different than chat. Chat
I figured that out.
Chat is going to have, let's do, we'll do
Yeah,
Opus.
I'm using Opus. Let's see.
Just so we don't have any screw ups here. But so it should use my Excalibur plugin here.
So you can't use Excalibur plugin with code? Because
you can't, not to drive it. I'll show you why. Watch what happens. Okay. It's going to do it right here in Claude. I'll let it work. I'll let it cook while it's going there.
But we have a question real fast.
Sure, keep going. Questions.
Oh yes. Where was it? One running Claude code and/or cursor. What is the typical expense for an hour's worth of its work?
Oh, geez.
I don't think about it in those terms. Though if I had to, like, I know somebody did a calculation working with like Sonnet, which is the cheaper but still very good Anthropic model, that if you run it 24/7, it averages about $10 an hour. But so the pricing thing comes up all the time, and here's how it really works. And it's another one of these things that you kind of have to get into the world to feel it. All of the model providers have a $20 a month plan that will get you started. You'll run into limits. You'll run out of time. You'll have to wait like 4 hours for your usage to reset. but you'll be able to do it. That costs $20 a month. If you want to do more than that, you can do $100 plan, and that $100 plan you probably won't hit limits unless you're really pounding, and maybe you're running several sessions at once, right? And always allow. And then if you go to the $200 plan, you probably won't ever hit any limits. I never do. I run at $200 a month. We
You're
can't hear
muted,
you, Richard,
RC.
for some reason. I don't know why.
Sorry. I hit the 3 days it took me to run out of the $20 limit, and then I switched to the $100 max plan.
Yeah, one of the max
with
plans.
Anthropic, and I've not run that one out at all. All right,
so like, I know that's a lot if you're used to paying nothing, but if you can redo your entire UI in a month of weekends, maybe it's worth
I know. I built a web app. I haven't built a web app in 25 years.
Yeah.
Like a web app with that. So I have so for whatever I invested, I got to go back and add that back to my skill set. What's that worth? I don't know. Shit, a lot more than $100.
Yeah. So look, here's Excalibur running inside of Claude Code, Claude Chat.
So code won't do this, right?
Because code can't show this UI like this. But Claude can. That's one of the differences.
Claude Chat can. Okay.
Yeah, like you see this. This is like Excalibur has taken over the chat view here.
Oh shit! I'm sorry, I missed that. What happened? Okay, so we're in.
So
we're in. Okay, got it.
So I'm still in chat, right? But the cool thing is, like, not only do I have have all my connectors, including my Proofkit connector, like I could literally do, okay, check my sales numbers in my open FileMaker file and make me a chart, but use Excalibur for the chart. And it will make a chart using the numbers from Proofkit from your FileMaker file and Excalibur to draw you this stuff. Because they're connected all within, like Claude is basically an integration layer, right? All of these apps that I have in here are all connected. I can all use them in the same chat.
Okay.
All right, back to no more Excalibur. What else?
I have so many questions.
Keep going.
I find that the connect to MCP script in FileMaker doesn't work unless I change to a layout called Proofkit MCP connector. Am I doing something wrong?
So
I have the same question here, Todd. Real quick, I'm gonna jump the same question. I'm trying to figure out what MCP server I should install and use. So this is that same kind of question here.
Well, so this is Proofkit's. When you run the Proofkit installer, this gets installed.
Okay.
And when you put the add-on in your file and you run this script, this is what you should see.
Okay.
If you don't see that, then you may have. Well, first of all, if there's no no connect to MCP script, you haven't added the add-on yet. And if you did add it and it still doesn't work, if there's an error, you could share the error and we could tell you maybe what else might have happened. I'm not sure.
Would you mind slightly resharing your screen so I can get your actual line? Because I don't see the top of your file. I don't see the FileMaker menus at all on the top.
Hang on. Let me shrink this thing down here. It blew up to the whole size of the.
Yeah, we're not seeing your.
Oh,
menus
come on. Don't. I can't get it all the way up, or it'll. I can't. Sorry.
Nope, you're good.
It's the scripts menu. It's this. It's this script called Connect to MCP. That's all I'm running from the scripts menu.
Okay.
It's just a script.
Okay.
Got it. No problem.
That's it. So you can run it this way too, and then you should see this. And if this is not running, if this doesn't pop up like this, and you don't see this, then it might be that I'm not sure exactly what the issues are, but if you post a screenshot of what happens when you do that to community.proof.sh, somebody can tell you what the issue is.
Margaret, I'm not getting refreshes on his screen now.
I know.
No?
Nope. So stop sharing completely and then reshare from the beginning. It's having a tantrum.
Do this again.
It's Zoom.
So wait. So Proofkit MCP. So Excel we have to use Claude Chat. Do we? So when we're using Proofkit MCP, can I use Claude Code for that as opposed to Claude Chat?
You can use Claude Code or Claude Chat. You won't be able to do the same things. With Chat, you can do things like You can chat, like you can ask, you could do like proof chat kind of things. You can say, hey, what are my sales numbers? What does my ERD look like? But you can't, and you can make some simple like web pages, but you can't make a full web viewer app with
Okay.
Claude Chat. You need Claude
Okay.
Code for that.
Okay. Yeah, we're seeing your screen now. The proof that
Okay.
little window
So
right there.
yeah, so when you run, so the script is just a script and it's in the menu. So um, it's in the menu up here, which I can't pull to it's right there,
Mm-hmm.
but that's just the same as right here. So if you run that, that window should come to the front. It should look like that. And if it doesn't, if for some reason that doesn't happen, send us a screenshot after you do that, and we can probably point you in the right direction of what it might be if there's some
All
error
right.
message.
I'm doing the install right now just because I'm ready for that in my life is a MCP. I've been doing everything without the MCP server, so on a web front end. So I didn't need it, but now I do. Okay.
We had a question. Where was it? My company is limited to using Copilot. What might you recommend as ways that I could use Copilot? Is it even possible with FileMaker?
So we haven't tested it, but in theory, Copilot should work fine with Proofkit, but we just haven't tried it.
Yeah, Proofkit
But
isn't tied exclusively to Claude.
No, it will work with any MCP compatible coding agent, which is all of them as far as I know.
Okay, so I'm doing the installer, doing the Proofkit install.
You're going to need to quit your Claude, and you're going to need to. You should follow the instructions, right? We have those. We have the.
Oh, so I shouldn't be winging it. Okay, cancel.
Well, you should.
Cancel.
Yeah, it's best to like. It's best to like start here. I made you a nice video, Richard, just for you.
Oh shit! Well, fuck, I didn't know that. So Proofkit dot.
This is what you want to do. You want to start here.
Okay.
There's a video and there's a series of steps.
JS libraries / dependencies can disappear and end with broken programs.
Docs.
Can dependencies disappear?
Yeah. What do you do? Yeah, basically. And yeah. Like, are you even be able to fix broken dependencies with LLMs? When
sure.
JavaScript
yeah.
libraries disappear?
Not a problem. So typically LLMs, so packages that have been published on the public repos like NPM actually cannot be deleted. It's like a rule. So once they're there, they're there. If you want to replace a dependency with something else, you don't want to use a particular library, you can say like, I don't want to use this library. What else should I use? And it will give you some good suggestions and you can use those instead. I do think the trend will likely be that instead of just installing NPM packages, which are little bits of code, in the future, probably we're just going to have the LLM just write the packages in the first place. There's just not as much reason because it's so easy for the LLMs to write that stuff. There's not as much reason to have all these dependencies. So I actually expect that the number of dependencies used will shrink to only the ones that are really important and really providing a big value.
Got it. That's kind of an interesting thought.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We're back to the. Could you explain how to use Proofkit? which is I believe what we're staring at.
Yeah. So we've done this a few times on this show, and there's videos. This video, like, I really, to know how to do Proofkit, this is the way to do it. It has a video for each step that you can follow along with that will teach you everything you need to know to get Proofkit up and running and to use it to create your first web viewer app. It's all right here. So the website is proofkit.proof.sh, and you can start the getting started will all lead you to this set of guides right here. Install and connect, and I cover it in the video here, and the installing part here, and then how to verify the connection, and then you go on to the next one where it talks about different prompts you can use to explore your file and see what's in there, and then build a web viewer app and how that works, and walks you. There's a video and steps to go through each one of these things.
I'm going through this. Do you have a preference on whether we connect this to server or to the local client?
So it's only connected to the local client.
Okay, I thought somewhere we were. It was a server
No,
desktop.
one of the things
Okay.
that's cool about Proofkit, it works on a file, whether it's on a server or not. It
Uh,
just works on an open file.
oh, whether, but it's going to access it through Pro no matter what.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
it's always going through Pro.
Got it. Okay. I thought you
Right.
were doing some sort of REST
No,
server
no,
API thing or
I
whatever.
all
will
Pro.
I will say, having installed Proofkit and then also now trying to use AI with FileMaker without Proofkit, Proofkit does greatly simplify the process.
Yeah,
So
it really does. It's like, I mean, it'll just get you started and you'll get much farther than you will if you try to figure this stuff out on your own.
uh
Vince. Vince, questions from Vince? Questions, Vince, from to Todd?
Uh, no, I just want to say thank you, Todd. I know you guys worked really hard on it. Really appreciate it. All the stuff that you guys are doing with it, and
It's a lot of work.
and kicking butt for Claris to do this, because I know that you're involved in this, and what we're getting is probably a byproduct of the fact that you helped with it. So anyway, I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. You know, it's we really like I know this is hard for people. I really do. I had somebody the other day tell me, I don't want to wrap my FileMaker in Java that I don't understand. And I totally get it. Like I get it. Um, but there is a way forward. There is a way through. Like this is a doable thing. You just have to take the first couple of steps, and there's a community building around this. The AI can help you quite a bit. You can get through it. And I think it's important. I think it's important for the whole ecosystem that that we can do this. And so that's why we did it. Like, you know, I want this community and this ecosystem to thrive. And so it just was like when you told me that you were like doing all this experimentation with Inspector with it, and you were, I think you said something to me like, I don't think I'll ever use a FileMaker layout again, or something like that. It was like, that was
Yeah, yeah,
just so awesome to hear,
yeah.
because that's the experience that I think people will have once they get moving on this, that this is what they're going to do. They're not going to want to go back. It's not going to be like, oh, should I go back? I've tried it. It doesn't work. No, it's going to be like, if you put in 3 to 5 days trying, I don't think you'll go back. I really don't. I really don't think
Yeah.
you'll go back.
I
So,
think, the days of FileMaker 7 and when metadata magic was out,
yeah, yeah,
the big discussion was, do I convert or do I rebuild? Right.
yeah,
And Danny Mac, I remember Danny Mac's advice was neither.
yeah,
What
that's
you
right.
do is you spend time learning what
Yeah.
this new ecosystem is about, and then once you kind of got a feel for it, your curiosity has been saturated, you've explored, you've learned, then make that decision. I mean, don't make that decision kind of on an impulse, like everybody's doing it, I should do it, or I don't want to do it because whatever. I think you should just explore what's possible, and then have that inform your decision.
It's really good. I think, when Dirk was working on that app I was showing you, like he was building all that. None of the users saw any of it until he was thought it was ready, and then he just flipped a switch, and now that's the new UI, right? Like you could experiment along with on your app. Either start with a dev copy. I would recommend that at first, so you feel more comfortable about it. But you can start playing and you can start doing stuff without having to impact anybody's workday until you're comfortable with it. So, yeah. Anyway, well,
uh,
thanks for showing up, Vince. I think you added
Yeah,
some
yeah,
important
yeah.
tidbits.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I'm sorry for crashing the party, but
No
I'm happy
problem.
I did.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
I can show one thing if I can,
Sure,
just really
yeah.
quick.
yeah, swing
Yeah.
for it. Go.
All right. All
This
right.
is great.
There we go.
I'm allowing. Boop. Try
All right.
try sharing again, Vince, because I didn't go through initially. There you go.
Like I was telling before, I built this. Like I said, I prompted it because I have all the data, and this is a FileMaker activity view, a FileMaker activity heat map, or activity view, and I can see basically modifications when they happen, and this is like the last like I was doing modifications to this file before, and then I think about this week I started using Proofkit, and I pulled the data into this view, and I said build this, And what's cool about it is that I can click on one of these squares and I can see what got changed by this person who committed it, and these are all the changes that they made. So
So
anyway,
I don't know if people are, so what he's talking about is those dots are modifications to a FileMaker file, right?
yeah, additions,
Date,
modifications, deletions,
deletions
or yeah,
on
yeah.
specific days. That view that he created.
This
That's a
is
common view for
26.
looking at activity.
Yeah, this
That's a
is
heat map
26
view.
weeks. This is 20. Every one of these squares is a day. And if I hover over it, I can see 81 modifications on Monday, June 1st. Actually, I can switch between different users and all this, but this is 1 week. This is this week. This is last week. And so in one view, I can see 26 weeks at a time. So basically half a year.
which is really
It's
cool.
so cool.
And seeing
It's
who
so
did the
cool.
modifications also cool. Because me and
Yeah.
RC
And
work on the same database together, and there's always like, did you do this? Did I do this? Who did what?
yeah,
Who's
Yeah.
responsible for
yeah.
this disaster?
It's
I
pretty
mean,
great.
it's controversial in the sense that, like, hey, I don't think you're doing any work lately or whatever. But anyway, thought I'd share that.
Thanks, Vince.
Thanks,
That's
you.
really great.
Thanks, Todd.
That's
Thanks,
very
everyone.
Appreciate
cool.
it. What
Uh,
else we got?
oh, there's a
Let me s-
question for you, Vince, real fast. The overview is taken from the XML file in real time.
What's repeat the question?
Is the overview, the heat map that you're getting, is it taken from the XML file in real time?
No, no. It's taken from Inspector after it's processed the XML.
Yeah.
There you go.
So Inspector has all the data parsed out from the save as XML and all the time, like over time, like
Right.
regularly. So he can see the changes everywhere all the time because it's all automated, right? Like it runs a full
Yeah, you could
whenever you
run it
want.
like you can run it on a schedule, run it
Yeah.
every 5 minutes, or you
Yeah.
could run it by invoking it. So there's different kinds of ways you can do it.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. So you can see the development of your FileMaker solution over time, which is great. And now you've got this beautiful UI to display it in.
I just want to say one other thing. Uh, Remember the days when Claris came out with the plugin API?
Yeah.
The first plugin API had one
Yeah.
parameter or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when Claris had it out for like a few years, they said we could not believe what people were building with the plugin API. And over the years, look at what it's created and all this, right? I think the same thing, if not more, is going to happen with what this is going to enable people to do. It like we can't even imagine what's gonna happen. But like, yeah, it excites me because I have in my notebook all kinds of ideas for projects, and I never did them because that's too hard. I don't want to start it. But now, hey, different story.
Let's
Yeah.
burn some tokens.
Yeah.
Burn some tokens.
Uh,
Yeah.
Let's start a token fire. Nice and toasty.
yeah.
What else we got?
Alco's reiterating what I said. I installed Proofkit, was really impressed once I got it running. What took me some time is to install Node.js and PNPM.
Yes.
This is not as straightforward as Proofkit itself.
Yeah, unfortunately, these are things that we have to kind of point you at the instructions to do. Maybe Claris can improve that. I don't know with what they're planning on doing, but yeah, there are a couple dependencies, and we do cover that in the guide that I was showing.
Yep. I just found
Everything is there.
I found the guide. I'm reading it, but I can't read it and watch the video and talk to you on the live stream
Yeah.
at the same time. So
Yeah.
you need to go away so I can watch your video. So,
Yeah.
get out of the way. So everyone, check out because this is starting to make more sense, and I really we need to have like a sit down workshop where only people can show up who haven't tried this yet. So Vince can't come, and we want everyone to take their first step together and not freak out and get over it. And then once you do it for like even an hour, you'll be like, holy shit, and then you'll just keep going. I'm very excited about this. Very, very excited. And Vince, you're very obviously excited, so very good.
It's very cool. People are asking about tomorrow. I believe, Todd, are you going to be able to come tomorrow?
I am not. That's Ernest. I think Richard, I mean, he'll talk about whatever you want, but I think you asked him to talk more about the business side of the story.
Yeah, because part of this conversation is it's what we do. Kind of at the end of the day, if we're selling business success, to technology and things like that, that hasn't changed, but how you articulate that changed. I talked to one of my engineers today, and I threatened to rip his lips off because, he was like, "Oh my God, the sky's falling, and we're all going to be out of business." And
No,
it's
you
like,
won't.
I
There'll be
gotta
a
go.
period when you
Thank
there'll
you,
be a
Thank you
Vince.
so
period when you
much.
start. We'll see
Bye.
you, Vince. Thanks again.
Bye, Todd.
There'll be a period where you start where you think, well, how can we charge any? And we used to charge per hour, and now I can do something that used to take a week. I can do it in 2 hours. How's that gonna like? That's not gonna work. Like we're gonna really what happens is you just end up you can work always expands to fill the time,
yes,
and
yeah,
you'll be able to what it comes down to is you will be able to offer more value at a better value to your customers. And so customers, if you think about like just using like, I don't know, let's say you needed like in order for a business to be successful, they needed a book like this size worth of
hmm
development to do
okay,
in order to be successful. And that used to cost like 200 grand. And now they can get that book size chunk of development, whatever it is,
hmm
for way less. So what that means is for customers who are just priced out, they just couldn't get there.
hmm
Now they can get real value for far less.
yes,
You're going to do more work probably for more customers. When I say more work, I don't mean you having to do like more work, like running faster,
hmm
but you're going to be able to create more value in a less amount of time, and that's going to allow more customers to afford you.
yes,
There's a thing called Jevons paradox, which I may have talked about here before. But basically, anytime something gets cheaper, people use more of it, not less.
yes,
So if you think about typing code is now cheaper.
hmm
And to be clear, I mean the typing code part is cheaper. So that means there's going to be more of whatever the typing code part is, right?
hmm
But that doesn't mean that you still have to think about what it is to build, right? Like you still
yeah,
have to have a good idea. You still have to have an idea that fits with the business you're working with. And you may have to try a few different ideas before you get the one that actually works. So there's still plenty of work to do around building. You're just going to be doing less of this. That's the thing. Less fingers on keyboards.
yes, yes, yes.
More
So,
thinking. You'll be thinking harder than you thought before, but you'll be typing less.
we're going to be done here, but I want to leave this out to everyone or throw this out to everyone real quick. Shoot me an email to support@rcconsulting.com. I am trying to evaluate whether we want to do a hands-on workshop together where y'all can come and we're all kind of together taking these steps. Like back in the old days, where you go to a classroom setting and they'd have a computer, you brought your own laptop, and everyone's kind of doing it together. Trying to keep a bunch of people together is like herding cats, but we've done it before. It can be successful, and I think maybe first steps in this for some of you might be best suited like that. So if you think that
I
would
think you
be
should take starting point and start building a new dashboard.
oh, it needs that. No, I got all sorts of ideas for starting point. Yeah, no, exactly. So the question is, if we take starting point, what do we add to it, and how do we add to it, and what does that look
A
like?
dashboard is the easiest thing because it's also super high impact
Mhm,
and the data is already there and you can make it beautiful and
mhm.
animated and like hoverable. You can do all kinds of great stuff within it. And yet it doesn't really impact the rest of the system at all,
Right,
right? Like it's
right.
an additional view. So it's a really good place to start.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, dashboard's a big one. So yeah, so if you folks are interested in a workshop scenario where it's kind of like a call like this, but then we're making sure everyone, we've gone through the Todd Geist setup instruction video, the page he just showed us, and we've already done that. Showed up. Okay, there's day one, then there's day two, and then there's day three, and we all do this together. The goal is that at some point after 4 or 5 days, which is 4 or 5 hours, you're going to just be on you'll be just going. Either resonate with you and it'll go or it won't. But everyone that I've met, they hit that spot, off they go.
I think the other thing I will say is, Claire showed in there, Martha showed working with scripts. And
I
I hope that we can get there
I have
sooner
not done
because
that yet. I have not done scripting with the
yeah,
AI yet.
I've done some experiments with AI scripting. It's kind of challenging, but I think Claris has the capability of getting in there and doing it in a good way. And if they do that, I think the people who might be don't want to wrap their FileMaker in Java, or JavaScript.
Well, to be clear, I don't. I don't. I think the idea. I think you guys are correct in that
Here's what I will bet you.
we don't want
I
to go
will
to the old
bet
way of
you
doing it. But
I
yeah,
will bet you that if you spend 3 days making a web UI in FileMaker, you will never go back.
And I've been doing that, right? But I don't, and I so I don't want to go back and do the layouts by hand. But I would
Yeah.
love the ability to let this thing build me a web viewer layout, or with certain restrictions, a conventional FileMaker layout, classic or legacy
I
mode.
think it's going to be tough to do the layouts. They're just really, I mean, you've seen the density of the stuff that's on there. It's pretty
Yeah.
hard.
No, no.
But I think
But you,
they're gonna be able to do scripts
yeah,
I think,
yeah,
and they're gonna be able to do tables because it's much easier. And once
yeah,
they get that, I think people will be very comfortable because they know the scripts. They'll be able to
yeah,
tell whether they won't have this like I don't understand the code problem.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And then
yeah,
what they'll realize is they won't ever be looking at the scripts anymore, and they still won't remember what code is in there. But at least they'll know that if they go look at it, they can understand it. And
yeah.
I think that will be helpful for some
No, that'd be
folks.
super helpful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the whole idea is going back and doing it the old way by hand is going to change. I think that's fun. That's the fundamental what you were saying. Um,
I don't do anything by hand anymore, and I can't
right.
imagine doing it. It's too
Yeah.
hard. It's way too hard.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Chatting with the agents is
that's the
better.
workshop for those of you who've been looking at this through the window. It's like it's what you know. With that song, I'm looking at that puppy in the window. You're walking by, you see the rescue dog, rescue cat. Some of you are not animal people. I get that, but something you really want through the window, but you haven't walked in the store yet. Maybe we have a workshop with all of us together to do that. Just a
I
thought.
think you should.
Yeah.
I had like 5 people immediately yell, "Yes, please do that on YouTube." So
Okay. All right.
Set aside like couple 3 hours for it though.
Oh, at least. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it'll be multiple days, and it'd be probably 90 minutes a day or something like that. And then but we have to people have to have going to have homework like to make sure you've done this. That way we're all together. Otherwise, on day 3 someone shows up and says, "Shit, how do I install Proofkit?" like what I did to Todd earlier. And I'm like, "Oh shit, dude, you're way behind." So yeah. And that's I don't want to say no to people, but I also need everyone to play nice and kind of keep up. So um and then we'll all like complain about Todd buying his back because he won't be here, right? But we'll go nice and slow because Richard's slow like that, nice and slow.
Well, I mean, we can, if I can't be there, maybe Eric can be there. One of our guys from our team can be there if you want. Just let us know.
No, that's fine. Yeah, yeah, absolutely, because we'll be talking
I'm
about
about
your
to say
stuff
free
and
Q&A. So
yeah, yeah, that's all
Like,
that.
and like I think the other thing to really remember is like Proofkit is the thing that we've put out, and we expect a lot of it, or most of it, or maybe all of it, will get replaced by whatever Claris does. But it will be very similar. And I should say similar in terms of the thinking and the process,
Uh-huh.
And so like if you're learning Proofkit, you're getting a head start on on the how to think about it when
Yeah,
this actually gets baked in.
we didn't say that too much, but really at the end of the day, Claris, the inspiration for what Claris is building, it comes from Proofkit. So I don't have the inside sausage on there, and Todd probably can't talk about it too much, but there's been some finagling back and forth to jumpstart what Claris is doing. So I will reiterate what Todd just said. If you're playing with Proofkit, let me just this will be slightly overstated. You're playing with the future version of what FileMaker is going to deliver in what I'll call 26.1. And we mentioned
It'll help you think about it for
yeah,
sure. Like
yeah.
it's definitely
Oh,
it's
it'll probably be
understanding.
far better if Claris does it and it's integrated. That would be wonderful.
Absolutely. That's
Yeah,
why we're very excited that they're doing it because
yeah,
we've had to do some hacks that we shouldn't have to do. Like it should just be baked in and it'll be way better when they do it. And
yeah.
so that's why we're super
So
excited to
so
get it
so
going.
us doing Proofkit, doing Claude code. In fact, I've been looking at Claris's development training notes for them putting together some enablement, but fancy word of like curriculum training, and they're leaning into Claude code pretty heavily on that end of their stuff at the
I
moment.
think I think they're like that's just like their first case, like because everybody it's the most popular. Most of the other things will work, but there'll be slight variations in like how to
Mm-hmm.
use them. But it's Claude Code is a good like first it's it, it's a really good first agent
And
kind of
that's
thing.
my first
Like
agent. It's my
yeah.
first, and people are like, "Well, which model?" I said, "I get the most expensive one because that way I don't have to worry about it in the back of my mind. It didn't work, and then I wonder, did I suck, or did I not specify to spend enough money on the correct agent? Right
Yeah.
in the back of your mind, you're never sure why.
I think it's if you can afford it and it's expensive like and that's I wish it wasn't like I really do.
Well,
But in the beginning, it's helpful, at least if you're very early on, because you don't know enough yet. So,
yeah,
just
I don't
use the models that the
use the
best ones
best.
you can, and then over time, you will develop an intuition about when you can switch to the cheaper models.
Yes, well, and if you burn through the $100 a month, then that's also a clue. But I haven't burned through it yet, so I leave it on set on
I've never
max.
touched the $200 one. I've never
Okay.
hit it, which
Yeah.
is a lot. And I've never, I mean, I code in both Cursor and Claude every single day, and I've not hit either of the limits on either
Cursor,
of those
whose
platforms.
product is that?
So Cursor is came out of, it was a startup, and it's still a startup, and you can use all the models with Cursor.
Okay.
Which is nice. So you can use OpenAI's models and Anthropic models, and they have their own models that are very good. Yeah.
So
it's very, very, very
they're
good.
reselling the other models.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
That's weird.
They were into this early on, so they're about I don't know, 18 months, 2 years old now.
Modern problems that we have, right? The things we were concerned about before are gone. Now we're worried about if we're on the right model, right?
Yeah, I think Claude's excellent. So is Codex with GPT-5. 5 is very good also. And so when I'm in Cursor, I can use both of those models in Cursor, which I kind of like to do. And they do have slightly different like characters, and they're better. Like I think Opus is better at UI design. So you start to learn some of these things, you get a sense of it, but any of those models is good, and they're going to do well for you. I think in the future we'll have cheaper models, and they'll be just as good. But for right now, that's where we are.
Cool. All right, Todd. I want to thank Todd from Proof coming out, talking to us, guiding us through this. Vince Bonanno from Drinking Too Much and then showing up to the wrong live stream. We welcome him to come back next week. We also had Jacob Taylor, who didn't say anything, but he's there making sure that Richard doesn't cause too big of a fit. Mr. Taylor, thank you for that. And then tomorrow, Ernest Cole will be on talking about the business and the fact that all of you are not going to have any job. You'll be all unemployed by tomorrow afternoon. Oh, wait a minute. That's a lie. Well, Ernest will explain why that's a lie come tomorrow. Okay?
Bye, everybody. See you shortly.
Bye. Thank you.
Hey, Margaret, turn it down a little bit.
Okay, remember you're still live.
I know. Hey, Todd, we need our own model called Clarice 4.7. That'd be funny. It'd be like $500 a month. It just says, hey, I got your credit card. Would you like me to upcharge you? If you don't reply to me in 30 seconds, I'm just going to go for it.